So, you're probably wondering who Gilgamesh was, right? Well, he wasn't just any ordinary king. He was the semi-divine ruler of Uruk in ancient Mesopotamia, and his story is older than your grandparents' stories. Imagine a time when people didn't have smartphones or even electricity, but they had epic tales about gods, monsters, and a quest for immortality. That's where Gilgamesh comes in, and believe it or not, he was the main character of one of the oldest known pieces of literature ever written. Gilgamesh isn't just some dusty legend. He's like the ancient world's version of a superhero with a tragic flaw, his arrogance. He was 2/3 god and 1/3 human, which probably made him pretty awesome in battle, but also incredibly egotistical. His story is told in what we call the Epic of Gilgamesh, which was written on clay tablets over 4,000 years ago. That's like having a bestseller from the time of the pyramids, except instead of selling books, they were writing on mud. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. The Epic of Gilgamesh isn't just about a king's adventures. It's also a deep exploration of life, death, and what it means to be human. Think of it as the ancient world's version of The Matrix or Star Wars, but with more monsters and less lightsabers. It's full of themes like friendship, betrayal, and the search for meaning in a universe that doesn't care about you. But here's the kicker. Even though we know all this from ancient texts, the real-life tomb of Gilgamesh has been lost to time. Until now, archaeologists have recently uncovered clues that might lead us to his actual resting place. And if they're right, it could be a game-changer for our understanding of history, religion, and even literature. So, we're not just talking about some dusty old tomb. We're talking about unlocking secrets that could change how we see the past. To make things even more exciting, this discovery isn't just about finding a tomb. It's about connecting dots between ancient myths and real-world history. Imagine being able to stand in the place where a legendary king once ruled and seeing evidence of his life through artifacts and inscriptions. It's like archaeology meets fantasy, and the best part? We're only just beginning to scratch the surface. If you imagine the world as a giant puzzle, ancient Mesopotamia is like the first piece that fits perfectly into place. Nestled between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers in what is now modern-day Iraq, this region was not just any land. It was the cradle of civilization, where the seeds of human society were sown thousands of years ago. Think of it as the original startup incubator for cities, writing systems, laws, and even some of the oldest stories ever told. And at the heart of this epic tale is a figure who might just be the first superhero of history, Gilgamesh. Mesopotamia wasn't just a place, it was an idea. Here, people began to build permanent settlements, create complex societies, and develop agriculture that allowed them to grow beyond mere survival. This area gave rise to some of the world's earliest cities like Uruk, where walls were built not just for protection, but as symbols of power and progress. It's no wonder this region is often called the land between two rivers, because it was literally between two rivers that made life possible and history inevitable. Now, picture a time when kings weren't just rulers, they were gods in human form. In Mesopotamia, rulers were seen as divine beings with the power to shape destiny. That's where Gilgamesh comes into play. He wasn't just any king. He was an epic hero who lived thousands of years ago and whose adventures have been told and retold for millennia. His story is written on clay tablets, which are like ancient Instagram posts from the Bronze Age, except instead of selfies, they're full of epic battles and existential questions. Gilgamesh isn't just a character in an old myth. He's a window into the minds of early humans. His tale explores themes that still resonate today: friendship, mortality, and the search for meaning. Imagine if Shakespeare had written his plays on clay tablets instead of parchment. This is what we're talking about. The Tomb of Gilgamesh, although not exactly a tomb as we know it today, holds clues to understanding how these ancient people viewed life, death, and their place in the universe. But here's where things get really interesting. For centuries, the Tomb of Gilgamesh was thought to be a myth. No one had ever found it, and many believed that the stories about him were just tall tales told around campfires by ancient bards. However, recent archaeological discoveries have started to change that narrative. The tomb itself may not be what we expect. Think more like an archive of clay tablets rather than a burial site, but its significance is undeniable. It's like finding a time capsule from the Bronze Age, filled with insights into how one of history's earliest civilizations lived and dreamed. Picture this: a team of archaeologists, armed with brushes, shovels, and an unshakable determination, standing on the edge of what could be one of history's greatest secrets. They had spent months navigating through dense forests, deciphering ancient maps, and braving unpredictable weather that threatened to wash away their efforts. But they were undeterred. Every drop of rain was a reminder that they were chasing something far more valuable than mere water, something buried beneath centuries of dust and time. The site itself was as challenging as it was fascinating. The ground was uneven, littered with fragments of broken pottery and the remnants of long-forgotten rituals. Every step had to be measured, every dig a calculated risk. One wrong move could mean damaging something irreplaceable, like accidentally uncovering a piece of history that hadn't seen the light of day in thousands of years. But the team was made up of professionals who understood that patience and precision were their greatest tools. As they dug deeper, they found themselves facing an unexpected obstacle. The tomb wasn't just hidden, it was protected. Layers of earth had shifted over time, creating a natural shield around the entrance. It took weeks to clear enough space for them to even glimpse what lay beneath. The air grew colder as they worked, and the weight of history pressed down on them like an invisible force. They weren't just unearthing a tomb, they were unlocking a portal to the past. Despite the challenges, the team's resolve only strengthened. They had seen too many sites ruined by careless excavation or natural decay to let this one slip through their fingers. Every day brought new discoveries, fragments of ancient carvings, remnants of ceremonial tools, and hints that this tomb wasn't just a resting place for Gilgamesh, but a sacred space filled with meaning. The thrill of the unknown kept them motivated, even when progress was slow. Then came the moment they had been waiting for. The entrance to the tomb revealed itself, half buried in rubble and mystery. It was a simple doorway, yet it felt monumental. As they stepped inside, the air shifted, as if the tomb itself was holding its breath, waiting to be rediscovered. The team knew they were standing on the brink of something extraordinary, and with every carefully placed brush stroke, they were bringing history back to life. Imagine standing in a dusty field where the only thing that whispers of ancient secrets is the wind. But now, thanks to ground-penetrating radar, GPR, archaeologists can peer beneath the surface like it's a giant X-ray machine for the Earth. This technology sends electromagnetic waves into the ground and captures reflections from different layers, allowing them to map out hidden structures without digging a single hole. Kind of like having a superpowered divining rod that doesn't require any magic. Once the GPR has painted a rough map of what lies beneath, 3D imaging takes over. Using lasers and high-speed cameras, researchers can create detailed digital replicas of artifacts and even entire burial chambers. This isn't just for show. It helps them analyze objects without touching them, which is crucial when dealing with fragile items like ancient pottery or delicate textiles that could disintegrate at the slightest touch. But wait, what about the people buried in these tombs? That's where DNA analysis steps in, like a time machine for genetic secrets. By extracting tiny fragments of DNA from bones and teeth, scientists can determine who exactly was laid to rest there. This not only reveals family ties, but also traces diseases, diets, and even migration patterns that span thousands of years. It's like getting a genetic report card from the past. Collaboration is key here. Archaeologists, historians, and scientists are like a superhero team with different powers, each bringing their expertise to solve the mysteries of Gilgamesh's tomb. Historians decode ancient texts, archaeologists unearth physical clues, and scientists use their tools to analyze everything from soil samples to skeletal remains. It's a real-life version of a crime-solving squad, except instead of catching criminals, they're uncovering centuries-old stories. And let's not forget about the role of technology in preserving these discoveries. 3D models can be shared globally, allowing researchers and the public to explore ancient sites from anywhere in the world. It's like having a virtual museum that you can walk through without ever leaving your home. Except this one is thousands of years old and filled with secrets waiting to be uncovered. As the archaeologists carefully brushed away centuries of dust and debris from the entrance of Gilgamesh's tomb, they were met with a sight that would leave even the most seasoned historian speechless. Nestled within the cool shadows of the chamber, a collection of artifacts lay in perfect preservation, each one a window into a world that had long been buried beneath time's relentless march. Among these treasures were intricately carved stone tablets, their surfaces etched with cuneiform script that hinted at stories and wisdom far older than any previously known, sparking immediate speculation about the true legacy of this legendary king. One of the most astonishing discoveries was a set of ornate clay cylinders, each inscribed with detailed accounts of Gilgamesh's journey through the underworld. These scrolls, though partially damaged by time, offered glimpses into his fears, hopes, and the moral dilemmas he faced as he sought immortality, a theme that would later echo in countless myths across civilizations. The precision of the cuneiform writing, combined with the vivid imagery on the tablets, suggested that Gilgamesh was not just a ruler, but also an intellectual and spiritual seeker whose thoughts transcended the boundaries of his time. Beyond the written records, the tomb contained personal belongings that humanized the mighty king in ways previously unimaginable. A beautifully crafted quiver adorned with silver filigree sat beside a set of ceremonial weapons, their handles etched with symbols representing Gilgamesh's divine lineage and military prowess. Alongside these items were fragments of woven textiles, dyed in shades of deep indigo and crimson, colors associated with both royalty and the sacred. These artifacts painted a picture of a man who was as much a warrior as he was a leader, whose life was marked by both conquest and contemplation. Perhaps the most emotionally resonant find was a small, weathered clay jar filled with what appeared to be dried herbs and spices, items that would have been used in daily rituals or medicinal practices. This discovery hinted at Gilgamesh's deep connection to the natural world and his belief in the healing power of plants, a theme that would later influence ancient medical traditions across Mesopotamia. The presence of such everyday items alongside grand relics suggested that even the most legendary figures had humble beginnings and simple needs, adding a layer of relatability to the mythic figure of Gilgamesh. As the team continued their excavation, they uncovered a series of small figurines, each representing different aspects of Gilgamesh's life, some depicting him in battle, others in moments of solitude or meditation. These sculptures, made from polished limestone and decorated with intricate patterns, suggested that his followers believed in his divine nature and sought to immortalize his deeds through art. The sheer number and variety of these artifacts hinted at a complex culture where religion, politics, and the arts were deeply intertwined, reflecting the multifaceted legacy of one man who had shaped an entire civilization.